So this is just a quick video on how to make daggers, and I'm doing several of these videos for people who want to help out making equipment or make equipment for themselves. Particularly, this is for people who want to donate equipment to LARP, and if they're going to do that, they have to meet a certain specification for the way the weapon is made, or else it won't pass safety. So I'm going to show you some of the systems that we use to make sure that these things pass safety. So daggers first. There's two ways to make daggers, but we always use bamboo. That's really important. Bamboo is lightweight, strong, and flexible. You can use a small gauge bamboo like this, which is just one piece. It's pretty thick and pretty strong. Or what I've been finding, since this is sometimes hard to find just the right size, you can use this lighter, really light gauge bamboo. Very tiny stuff. You can find this at Freeman Brothers. And you put the three of them together and you tape them into a roll, and you'll get something like that. Now, because it's three, it creates a really strong force, and you get a really good dagger that way. So I've been recommending that. It also allows you to customize it to get it just the right thickness that you'd like, and you don't have to be so picky about bamboo. So I'll show you how to do that first. Just take three pieces like that, take some duct tape, and just wrap the ends like that. Nice and tight. This part you really want to be tight when you're taping. There's structural taping, and then there's decorative. Decorative for the outside. This is structural, so you want to be really sturdy with this. Just tape that down there, and then take one piece, nice long piece the whole length, and then put that right on there, and then wrap it up. So now you're going to do the ends. We're going to put little thruster tips on both ends because you're going to knock out with this, and you're also going to be stabbing with it. So you need to have some safety precautions on the ends here. I just take a little bit of this blue camp mat foam, and I got my razor blade here. I'll just cut off a couple quick pieces here. This is just the first layer of protection, so you really don't need to be too hypersensitive about it. It just needs to be a layer. What I do is I take a small piece like that and I roll it back on itself, which creates a double-sided tape, and I just stick that on the end first. Take some of that blue foam, stick it on there, so now it won't fall off. And then I'm going to stick this other piece and I'm going to wrap it around it. And that usually will keep it in place for as long as we need it. This is going inside of another piece, so it really doesn't need to be super strong. Take another one, same deal. Take a piece, another piece off of that piece, double-sided it around like that, and then stick it on the bottom there. Stick that on the other side, and then wrap it up. Now we're going to do another layer of blue foam to cap this later, so this is just in case everything else fails, we've got something what we want. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. There we go, got a core. Now we're going to go on to the actual dagger itself. So we'll take our pieces. These are 1 foot, by the way, you're looking at for daggers. 1 foot jittes would be about 1.5 feet to 1 foot 3 inches. Just stick that in there and just slide it till your piece disappears. Then you can feel along until you find out where it ends, right about there, and just cut it at that point. So now you've got pipe insulation covering all of that and both ends. So now what we're going to do is we're going to secure this to the bamboo. And to do that, we use the same system we use when we're making any sort of pole arm. We use a securing method which runs the whole length. Usually you can find the place where this foam will split, which is right there. Already got a split along it. You can split it right down like that. Take a little bit of duct tape. There you go. And you're going to stick it, open it up, and make sure you touch the bamboo. Get it right on there, like that. And then close it, and then wrap it. And this can be pretty tight because you're trying to make sure it's not going to wiggle around. Now, what this really does is it allows for the weapon to really be sturdy and not twist in your hand. And that's what makes pole arms work. If you don't do this system, you're going to end up with pole arms that are wiggly. They don't feel like they're going to stay sturdy when you try to use them. So you really want to make sure you get this step down. So they're at both ends like that, and then also in the middle, because you're going to hold it here. If you can feel it twisting like that, that's what you don't want. You want to make sure that the handle particularly does not do that. You can also solve that by taking a piece and putting it lengthwise up the blade, and then just pressing it right into, making sure it's touching the bamboo, and then pressing it down. That will also solve that, but only to a degree. You're still going to need to put a strap around through the middle, right here, usually right where the crossguard is going to go. That's what you want to do, like that, and then wrap it around. And the rest of the blade you can actually leave a little loose because you want it to be soft. If you tape it up a lot, it's going to be hard, and that's really a problem with daggers because they are they don't have a blade. The blade is totally round, so you really want to make sure that you cover all that up. So now if you've got any split left, you want to make sure you close it. You can do that step later if you like, but I like to add a little step here just in case so that you don't miss it and none of the bamboo comes out and it starts hitting people. Alright, so there we go. Now we've got that basic core of the dagger. So now we're going to add some safeties to the end here. I have this wider blue camp mat foam. You're going to see if it, just look at the size of the width of this pipe insulation. You can find some that fits pretty good. This is really good. This is a really good size. So that's exactly the width. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to cut 2 of those. Just it's the exact same size as my pipe insulation here. Make sure you got a nice sharp razor blade because it doesn't behoove you to be hacking away with a dull one. It just wastes time. Same system we used before. You just take a piece, double it back over, except this time it's a much bigger piece. And you just stick it right on the top there and then cap it like that. Do that on the other side too. Double it over. Incidentally, this is a great knockout pommel. We used to put open cell foam on the knockouts, and now it's just not necessary. This works great. We really don't need any more. It's the open cell foam for the thruster tip that you really need. No, we'll get to that in a second. So then I'm just putting tape over the top there to cover it, and then folding it in steps around the side, sort of origami style. I fold it in, and then I fold the top down, and then another one. Then I'm going to go around it with a piece and secure those pieces down, just laying it right there so it touches the edge like that, and then around this back like that. So that knockout's done now, right, like that. That'll be your knockout. It's really great. So now for the point though, that's not going to do. We're going to need to at least secure it, but not too much because I'm going to put a blade on later. I'm going to point on later, so just enough to keep this in place is all I need. Same system, just press it down, press it down, press it down. You don't want it too tall. If you've gotten those thrusters too long, what will happen is this will start to bend on you, and when you get your point on there, the whole thing will bend and pop right out. So you really want to make sure that you're not putting too much point on beyond the bamboo. That really is the major failing of weapons like this. You think if you add more foam, it's going to help, but it doesn't. You have to adjust the right amount, and if you get any more than 2 inches, really, it's going to be a problem. So try to make sure you're doing that, and you can kind of compensate for that by putting a little bit more thick tape around here, like the Gorilla Tape. So there you go. Now you've got, that's the pointy end that's going to have a point on it, and here is my knockout. So I'm going to put a crossguard on. Crossguard is nice just for when throwing. It really does help with the balance of the weapon, and also for blocking. It also adds to the look of the weapon, and people know it's a dagger if it has a crossguard. That really helps. And I find that because it's got an odd shape, when it hits people, if it hits at an odd angle, the flat doesn't hit as much. They'll usually get with the handle, and then that keeps them from getting hit by much of it. So that does really help too. For these, usually you can eyeball it as far as how much you want. Looking at your dagger, but you don't want too much pommel on there. I usually go for about 4 to 6 inches is about right when it comes to crossguard, looking like that. To do your crossguard, take some tape, and you can split it right down the middle, like that, and just put one ring around the one end, just to keep it together while you're working with it, and then the other ring around the other end. Keep that from splitting while you work with it. There you go. Splits on. That's all there. Now you find the split, and you open it up, and you push through, and you open up the other side too. So you're cutting all the way through there. So now you've got an open piece. You're going to take that and just stick it right on the pommel and push it up until you've got the crossguard where you want it. Now, balance-wise, I find that the crossguard is good a little bit higher than you think. You might think, well, I'll just see where my hand fits and I'll push it down like that and that'll be fine. A little bit higher is actually better. Give yourself a little bit more space for the hand, just because of the balance when you throw it. When you add the point, it's going to be quite a bit more. So you push that up like that, and there's your crossguard. Now we just have to tape it on. I usually take one piece and I put it flat right on the top to start. I flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. One piece just flat on the top. And then, to really get it strong so it stays on, you've got to get these diagonal pieces put in. And I like to take a piece and split it, actually. Like that, like I did before, split. And then lay that piece right in that little seam, like that, diagonally. There you go. And then the same thing on the other side. And you do that for all 4 corners. And if you do that, you're really going to make a nice dagger. And once again, it's no use making your daggers if they're going to just wear out and or not pass safety. They got to be durable. They're one of the most used items in the game, actually. Daggers are very, very popular. They get used a lot. They get thrown. They get stepped on. So don't underestimate how you need to build these things. And that's why I'm even doing this video. It's because I find a lot of people build daggers and they just don't know what they're doing. And they make a fairly decent one, but it won't stand up to the kind of treatment that they really need to stand up to. So there we go. I've gotten all 4 pieces all, you know, done there with the cross pieces there. And it's looking pretty good. You can see it's almost done. I just need a thruster now. Not too big, okay? You've already got a lot on here. So see, it's not very pointy. It's not very tall. Just a little bit is all you need there. I'm going to use the same process I did before. Just going to take this and double it over. Stick it on the top. I'm going to stick that on top of there. And there you go. Then I'm going to wrap around. Got tape like that. And I'm going to put this piece on the base there, like that. And then wrap it around the base like that. And that should do it for my thruster tip. Now that will be nice soft when you get a stab. It's not going to hurt. That's really good. So that's looking good. I'm going to just finish off that tip there. A couple more pieces of duct tape. And we should be good to go. As a word of warning, as you'll see on the website, Nashua, the brand I usually use for duct tape, has really taken a downturn. The duct tape that they are putting out now is just awful. And I've only found of some of their old stuff that I can find, and if the older kinds are still really good, that's what this is. But the new stuff they've come out with is just horrendous. It's the worst duct tape I've ever even seen out there, and it's really slippery. It's really plasticky. Doesn't work very well. Stay away from it if you can find the old stuff. Use that. If you're using a bad duct tape, once again, this is not going to work. It's going to slap when you hit with it. The duct tape's going to come apart. So make sure you're getting a good duct tape as you work here. Okay, we're just about done then. All we need to do is finish the blade, which just needs a layer. Just to cover it up so that it doesn't get torn up as it blocks and all that. So just put a layer of duct tape on the blade there. And then for finishing touches, we're just going to put brown on the handle. And that's it. All in all, that takes about 20 minutes to make a dagger. If you get really good at it, you can speed that up. But overall, it usually takes, you know, it's pretty standard. If you do a lot of the cuts for the bamboo first and you mass produce everything, you can sometimes get it to go a little bit faster. I'm going to put an extra pieces of duct tape on the crossguard there just to cover up the structural stuff I did before. Makes it look a little nicer, and also helps it to not tear along the crossguard. That's the place it tears the most, is right there. And then I'm just going to do the handle, so that's where I'm going to dig down to this brown duct tape. You can get this at Uline. They'll order it and they'll ship it to you if you want. They're really fast, but you can also find it at Home Depot. They're carrying this stuff now too, and it's in a different section, usually in the paint section. They'll have the colored tapes. They're also at Michael's and all that, and Walmart. And it is actually, ironically, much better than the Nashua that's out right now. This stuff is, oddly, it is more expensive because it's colored, but you can see I'm just laying it on. Usually it takes about 3 pieces to get all the way around this handle. And then we're done. So there it is, finished dagger. You can see right there, both sides, point, the back, complete. Good luck.